Hello everyone and welcome to Matters Arising, coming to you live from our KAFTAN studios in Abuja. We focus on trending national events and issues as well as those that are unfolding in other parts of the world. Our esteemed viewers are very important to us, and that is why we've opened our telephone lines so that you can call in to participate. Let us make the program conversational, and the number is 080-299-38365. My name is Maucauley, Hunohashi. Thank you profoundly for finding time to join us on this political roller coaster ride. But I'm not alone in the studio.
I am Elizabeth Sam-Sebi. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Okechukwu Onugbo here. Good to have you.
Well, we value your inputs, so share them via our phone number displayed on your screen. For today's news roundup, over to Sifon Omo. When we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world, we're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising.
This is the News Roundup. A group of lawmakers in the House of Representatives are seeking alterations to the 1999 Constitution to pave way for the rotation of the presidency among the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. They also want an amendment to the 1999 Constitution to provide for a single tenure of 6 years for the President and Governors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Speaking on behalf of the group on Monday in Abuja, Ikenna Ugochinyere of the PDP in Imo State said that the reduction in government spending and wastage, efficiency in governance, and national stability by providing a single term of 6 years for the president and governors will go a long way in cutting the cost of governance. The organized labor has vowed to reject any 62,000 naira or 100,000 naira minimum wage proposal for Nigerian workers by the federal government. The Assistant General Secretary of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC, Chris Onyeka, disclosed this on Monday during an interview on national television. Onyeka, who described such a proposal as a starvation wage, insisted that its latest demand as a living wage for an average Nigerian worker still remains 250,000 naira. A Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has declared that the 25 members of Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Right Honorable Martin Amewule, are still members of People's Democratic Party (PDP). The court in the decision on Monday struck out a suit filed by Wosa Amadi and 3 others seeking to declare the seats of the 27 lawmakers vacant following their defection to the All Progressives Congress in December. Justice Okobule Basam in the judgment held that Martin Amewule and the 26 other lawmakers are still members of the PDP as the claimants failed to prove to the court that the 27 lawmakers truly defected to the APC, noting that the said defection cannot be established through newspaper publications, radio announcements, or online publications. The Federal Ministry of Works has fixed the vandalized railings and expansion joints of the recently commissioned Second Niger Bridge. The special advisor on media, Uchenna Orji, to the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, disclosed this on Monday. Orji noted that the Federal Ministry of Works is working with the police and other security agencies to tighten security and stop vandalism on the bridge and save the superstructure from further damage. And that is all on the News Roundup. I am Sifon Omo.
When we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world, we're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising. This is a brand new week, and spectators of the ongoing political drama in Nigeria know that the back and forth between organized labor, trade union, Congress, and the federal government over living wage increase is not yet over, as leadership of the unions berate state governors over their stance on the minimum wage saga. Reacting to the statement that was issued by the Nigerian Governors Forum on Friday, where they claimed they lack the capacity to pay 60,000 naira as minimum wage, NLC said the states acted in bad faith. And I quite agree that the states acted in bad faith, because come to think of it, it took state governors one day and they sat and rose from that meeting and took a decision that they lack the capacity to pay 60,000 naira.
Yeah.
Even when federal government was thinking of offering something far beyond 60,000 naira.
Well, not much. Federal
and I see it as preemptive. Because Nigerians were expecting federal government to come out with a position
Right.
that will be, somehow create a middle ground, for the disagreement.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. From the day they called off, last week Tuesday, when they called off the strike, when it was announced that Labour had called off the strike, and I was like, oh, what did they agree on? Have they met, arrived at a particular wage? And I learned that, no, they hadn't. The government were meant to get back to them. I was a little bit skeptical. I was worried a little bit. I was actually disappointed by Labour. As much as we all didn't want the strike to continue, right? Yeah. Because everything was grounded, and at the same time, I was a little disappointed when there was no concrete agreement on a certain amount, all right? That this is how much they have agreed. Why? Because during ASU, I keep making reference back to it. ASU will tell you that the government will make promises, and at the end of the day, they will not keep to their promises. And the government will come back and say, no, it's not true that they've been keeping to their promises. That's ASU. Same thing with the doctors and health workers some time ago when they had strike. And they said the same thing, that the government will make promises. And all the promises they've made over the years, they hardly kept to all of them, all the promises they make. Then that's why I got a little worried when Labour had, they had not arrived at a particular wage for the workers before they called off the strike. Okay, we were all waiting and see what we are. We're all waiting. What we are seeing. Government said 62,000, and the governors went behind us and came back and said that even the 60 they had originally said that they were not even going to, they could not afford to pay 60,000 naira.
How much do they want to pay? They have not even mentioned a figure.
They have not. I think they said 30,000, right? The same 30,000 that we are aware that some states have not even been able to pay. Yes, to pay. All right, and this is beyond minimum wage. The Nigerian worker needs a living wage,
not a dying wage.
Not a dying wage, because things are. Do you know that over the weekend, a small basket, there's this plastic dustbin. Waste bin that you leave in the office, this small basket that we have here in the FCT was 27,000 naira, and most of the vendors that sell tomatoes didn't have. I was actually looking for tomato, and I drove here, there was no tomato. I said, what's going on? This guy said, madam, it's too expensive, we no buy. So I just let go of whatever stew I wanted to make. I had to look for alternative, but I mean, things are expensive. Look at gari. Look at beans. Let's even leave rice, because most times we use rice as an example, which of course people eat rice more than most families. It's easy. It's more like about the easiest food to make, to get rice, to get it cooked, and you can just give it to your children and like that. It's not funny. It's not funny. If the states are saying that they cannot pay this amount, so which way? What's the way forward?
That is it's quite a pity that it's happening at this time and age that our governors are doing this. But even before the governors, let me say something about the federal government. Was it just 2,000 naira that they had to, was it the thing for which they said, don't worry, we'll do something? 2,000 naira in addition to the 60 will make it 62. It didn't, as far as I know, it doesn't make sense. People were expecting something.
No, it didn't make sense.
And it's just 2,000 naira. And they will tell you, do you know the number of people that will get it? I don't want to bother my head about the number of people that will get it. Because when you needed to do something for the National Assembly, you did it
right, just
like that, without any noise. When they needed to get SUVs for them, it was just
right.
The other allowances, accommodation and all that, nobody talked about it. Nobody bothered about it. And we're not talking about millions. We're talking about trillions, not even billions, for all of them. But you see, the one that has to do with the people that, the ones you could refer to as the hen that lays the egg, is the one that you want to talk about. It's not right.
Sorry, Coach, you can hold your trust. We have a caller. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to the program Matters Arising. What's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, we have lost the caller.
And you come to the States. It's Some time ago, it was the same thing that the governors did when they were talking about the last increase in salary, when it was moved from 18,000 to 30,000. You know, and some of them clicked themselves together to say, we will not pay. I know somebody whose name I wouldn't want to mention here said no, that his state will not pay. But when he was troubled, he had to start paying. The money is there. We're still talking about this small amount of money. The allowances that were supposed to come to every state, the ones that accrued from the oil subsidy thing that was removed, they didn't.
Sorry, we have a caller. Okechukwu, we have a caller. Hello, good evening, and you're welcome to Matters Arising.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. I can hear you. Please mention your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Edidion Peter.
Osita, you're calling from where?
Peter Edidion Peter.
Kwaibo.
Okay. From the name, I know it's from Akwa.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Yes, can you say what you want to say?
We have lost him.
Okay, now you see, this same thing, talk about security vote for the governors. Nobody is talking about that one. That money alone can go a long way in helping sort things out, but nobody questions them. And now it is this little amount of money you need to give to workers that all this noise is coming.
Ikechu, what worries me is even the speed.
Transport.
Is even the speed.
Even enough to take it all, apart from the food
exactly.
he was mentioning.
Yeah. Right.
It's even the speed with which they sat and rose from their meeting and took a decision.
Oh, just in one day.
Said they cannot pay this 60,000.
Just as they use speed in the National Assembly to change the national anthem.
We have a caller. Hello, good evening, and you're welcome to Matters Arising. Hello? Hello, you're on. We have lost.
Network.
I think the network is epileptic. Continue with our line of thought.
Just as they speedily change the national anthem. That's what we are saying again. So does it mean that it's only when it has to do with what they want that there will be action that will be positive? But when it's not, when it's what has to do with the masses, they don't care. That's what it means. And talking about these people, they are the people that were voted into power just a year ago, though some have been there a little longer. And all of them were saying that they were coming to serve the people, to help the people, to carry out the people's
And
wish.
what time is better than now to help these people?
To do it.
Right.
Yes. They would prefer letting them come to their places to beg, and they will dole out whatever to them.
Yeah.
It's wrong. Give them what belongs to them. They are the ones that bring the money. So help them, let them enjoy it. And anyway, it's not even a living wage if you talk about that. Even that 100 and whatever thousand that we were hoping that they would eventually say, it is not even a living wage.
My worry is that governors should not have a threshold collectively to say this is what they want to pay collectively, because
Thank
the
God, sir. Edo is already paying something else.
Edo is paying 70,000, even though he's going to pay, in the twilight of his administration, of his tenure,
Exactly.
3 months before his departure. So people say it is political, but even at that, it is still okay.
Even
So
at that, at least it's doing something.
there are states that generate revenue that far exceeds what they get from the federation account.
Right.
For instance, you cannot compare what Lagos state government and River State, for instance, generate, as internally generated revenue with that of Adamawa, Taraba, or Sokoto state.
Or Kebbi state.
So they should be talking, the different levels of minimum wage that they can afford to pay.
That what we are trying to say is that each state at least should be able to, like,
Of course, yes.
because some earn more than some.
Yes, but no matter what,
Exactly.
let there be that basic.
Yeah.
We're talking about basic.
Let that be that basic.
They should, whatever happens, they should be able to pay up to that 60 before any other thing.
But they are even denying the 60. That is even,
That's
they
the
are not
point.
even
The annoying
accepting
part of the
that.
story is that they
Yes.
don't even want to accept that. They want to come back and come down.
But what do they now expect these workers to do? It's not easy. Is it until they can't come to work? Is it until that time, okay, probably they will threaten them again that if they don't come to work, they sack them, or they charge them to court, or what?
Labor has come down from 400, their initial 495,000
yes,
to 250.
Yes,
So
because there was a rumor.
I'm expecting federal government to also jack up so that they can arrive at a middle ground. But whatever they arrive at, with the current economic situation facing the country, is anything sustainable beyond 100,000 to 250,000?
Labour had even said that they were not, they were at no point.
I have a caller, Elizabeth. Hello? We have lost that one too.
Network.
The network is epileptic today.
It is. They had said that they were not going, there was no how they were going to accept 62,000, nor even 100,000, because a lot of people came doing analysis and saying that at least government should make it up to 100. Labour had even said that they were not even going to accept that 100,000. All right. What initially they had said that one, I can't remember his name right now, a member of the Nigeria Labour Congress has said at least up to $100, which is around 150. Not official though.
Not official,
yes. But right now they are saying 250. They stand at 250. Yes, and we expect the
Elizabeth, we have a caller. Hold on your thoughts.
Yes.
Hello, you're on to Matters Arising on KAFTAN TV Live.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm Akila from Sanga Local Government of Kaduna State.
Akila from Sanga,
Yes,
Kaduna
sir.
State. Okay, go ahead with your comments.
Yes, sir. In fact, from the look of things, what the federal government and the governors are saying, I don't think they are helping matters. They are only worsening the situation. Because these civil servants are the ones that are the engine room of the nation in general. Then, and they are the people that have been molested, which is very, very bad. Somebody as a civil servant, his take home, everything is 40,000. Specifically, let me say Kaduna State, 40,000, 50,000. And how much is the cost? Look at check out the cost of living today. And are we helping ourselves? Is it because they want everybody to die before? Or what are they telling the world? And if people are complaining, yet they will begin to say sort of things that are embarrassing, are annoying, and whatnot. And again, check out the issue of even transport. For a civil servant to live, somebody will have to spend 1,000 plus every day, to and from 3,000 for transport to his working place. And that same person is collecting 50,000 or 40,000.
Yeah.
How would that person survive? And it's a family person. At least we need to be justified. And these are the people that let me say, set promises to people that they are going to do this, do that for people. And look at how they have been molesting people today. And let's go back to the federal government. The issue of this palliative, that they are just shared, they are saying they are crying that there is no money, the state is crying that there is no money, and they are the same people that are sharing money, sending money to people. Anyhow.
Thank you,
You will
Akila.
see somebody that is doing nothing, and they will just send 500,000 for that, 300,000, 300,000, millions, and whatnot. Is that one not rubbish?
Thank you.
This money that is realized from the subsidy, why can't they inject that money and do this, reply the refineries so that we have enough fuel? And they will carry this money and be lavishing it, and now they are crying that there is no money. Is that one not foolishness?
Yeah.
Who is fooling who?
Thanks for
So
calling,
it is
Akila.
like that.
You have made a point. Thanks for calling. Listening to Akila from Sanga Local Government of Kaduna State, one could resonate with the pains in his voice.
Before even at the level at which the civil servants are right now, before the end of the month, they will have borrowed, or taken on credit.
Far above their salary.
Above their salaries.
Not just talking
So
about
they don't even have
salary.
it's not enough. It's not enough. And these people, the state governors cannot say they are not aware of this. If these people are members of their household, their families that are going through what these workers are going through, will they be happy? For them to keep coming over and over, they come to you this month and ask
Sorry,
you.
Elizabeth. Hold on, you have my thoughts. You're on to Matters Arising.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You're on. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Julius. I'm calling from Mina, Niger State.
Julius from Mina. Okay.
Welcome.
You're welcome on the program. What's your comment?
Well, I'm just thinking about.
Oh, we have lost
Oh, no.
Julius from Mina.
Please, Elizabeth, you know, we've been talking about government and labor. We still have the private sector.
Yes.
I wonder, because you know that in the private sector here in this country, some people pay only 10,000 to workers, some 15 or 20.
They still do that?
Yes. So can you imagine now, if it goes up this way and these ones are fighting, they will say they will not, some of them will still say they are not ready to pay anything anymore. If you can't take this one, go home. So let them even think of how to help this country.
On the side of the private sector, let's not be, you can even understand a little bit from looking at it from their perspective. Because as business people that make manufacturers, the production and all that, they most times there is no power, there is no light. So they use diesel and fuel to run their businesses, to produce and all that. A lot of course they are multitask.
I know some of them that are just traders who are doing this thing so bad.
Right.
They refuse, they will collect thousands, millions, and they will pay peanuts to their workers.
So if there are ways the government can also still, you know, reduce this taxation, this multiple taxation from this aspect of the organized private sector, at least to reduce it and do something about the electricity, you know, for it to be stabilized, and the tariffs also. Let's not forget, because the wage and the living wage thing is even overweighing the other reason why what Labour Congress is fighting for, which is the electricity tariff. Let's not also forget that they also need to work on that.
Our democracy is fashioned after the American democratic structure, and these are challenges the American people have conquered, which means there is a template out there we can just go pick and apply, domesticate it and apply.
They know what to do. They know the right thing to do.
Including the living wage that is being agitated for. On that note, we'll take a short break, and when we return, Matters Arising will continue. When we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world, we're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising.
In a world where information is vital to every individual, a platform where technology is a medium to pass information, you can always catch up on all information written in the newspapers, even without having one. Join us on The Press.
Live from the Abuja studios.
On The Punch for this morning. The Blueprint newspaper, Nigerian Tribune this morning.
As we give you information and opinions about current events and topical issues on politics, business, sports, entertainment, weather forecasts, and lots more in the local city, across all states, and across all countries. Showing daily on Startimes, channel 124, 9 a.m. West African time, only on KAFTAN TV. Stay connected with us.
That he said it is a reason why I will not do it.
I pursue the federal government to pay us our damages.
YouTube, KAFTAN TV.
When we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world. We're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising. Welcome back. It's still Matters Arising. While the dust that was raised by the gruesome murder of 5 soldiers and 6 civilians in Abia State last week is yet to settle, the government of Edo State has come out with a strong warning to criminals and cultists terrorizing the state, including those who attacked soldiers and policemen in the state, that they will face a raw deal by security agencies. I hope it's not the usual grandstanding Okechukwu that Nigerians are familiar with. Authorities must be seen to be walking the talk.
Yes, they must be seen to be walking the talk. But one thing I'm happy about is that there is even a talk this time. Because before now, we've not been having talks from state governments. The state governments we've had all this while have been silent over things like that. Apart from the fact that the last one that happened in Abia State, that the governor talked about ransom that will be given to whoever that will help them.
He even raised the bounty to 30 million.
And up till now, we've not been able to...
They are still doing something anyway.
And
now we are hearing it from Edo. It's good, because before now...
Let's go, we have a caller. Hello, good evening, and you're welcome to Matters Arising.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Tayo calling from Gombe State.
Tayo from Gombe.
I want to appreciate.
Okay.
I want to appreciate the topic of this. Sorry, I will have to take it back concerning the minimum wage issue.
Go ahead.
I think our problem in this nation is that we have leaders who lack compassion. They want to feed on the people they should feed. They are feeding on the people they should feed. It's unfortunate that they are not thinking of reducing costs. Somebody who is earning 1 million naira, 200,000, 300,000 per month is saying that somebody that should earn less than 60,000, and he is earning 2, 3, 4, 1 million in a month. It's just unfortunate that this nation, that is where we have found ourselves. And we'll endure, but I don't think the endurance will last, because it will come to a time when the people will have to revolt. It's just, I don't think Nigerians will keep on enduring it. But look at, for instance, the SGS said they have three drivers, and they can't afford to pay them 100,000 plus. So if you have 3 drivers, can't you reduce it to 1 and reduce costs? We must help each other in this nation, not forcing the people who are really paying the price, to help this nation. I think this is my contribution.
Okay, thank you so very much. That reminds me of an adage that says, one day the poor will not have anything to eat but the rich. Continue on the line of thoughts.
One day that's good. Now, coming back to the point we have before he came in with this, Edo has now joined to talk about this. It's good. It shows there's governance in the state. Because before now, okay, let's talk about what we've been hearing about other states. You've never had the state government say anything. No. It's only federal government. Federal government is not the only government in Nigeria.
It's not the only government.
There are 3 tiers of government. Let's hear the others say something, do something. Just as you said, doing the talk. So I'm happy there is a talk in the first place. I believe that they will do it. I believe that they do it. Also knowing that Edo's position is very important. If we don't get to have Edo state safe, people going down south must go through Edo from the north.
It's a gateway.
And things like that. Yes, a gateway. Apart from the fact that you could go through Enugu, but then this is one way that leads to so many other places. I must say kudos to the governor, and I pray that he will do the talk.
Kudos to the governor. We pray that he will do the talk.
We are hoping that he will do the talk, according to you. Yes, some youths from...
Sorry, Elizabeth, hold your line of thoughts. We have a caller. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Matters Arising. Beg your pardon?
How are you?
I'm fine. We are fine in the studio.
Okay. I'm Chukasan, calling from Taraba.
Chukasan, calling from where? Taraba, okay. Okay, yes, Chukasan, you're on.
It's okay. What I'm trying to observe for the federal government, they should also pay the governor and the governor, and that's 62,000, and the member and the senate, they should pay them, even the president, they should pay them 62,000 as well.
Okay, so that's your proposal.
Okay, thank you.
He has taken us back. That is proposing that the president, they should all be subjected to the same minimum wage. Continue with your line of thoughts.
Oh, okay, I like his line of thoughts. All right, so Edo State, yes, youth from Ijo youths, the Riverine area in Edo State, in Obvia, Southwest local government, part of Edo State, was where this incident happened, where they attacked 3 officers, 2 soldiers and a police man. I think they were in a boat, and where the attack took place. And according to them, they said that the Ijos in Edo State have been marginalized. So they, as youths of that community, took it upon themselves to fight. Imagine, fight by fighting officers, military,
security people.
Exactly, that had come to protect.
Sorry, Elizabeth, we have a caller. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to Matters Arising.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, lady. Welcome.
Who's the first lady?
Oh my goodness! Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Nikki Atta. I'm calling from the Niger Delta.
Okay, Nikki Atta, you're on.
Thank you. Yeah, I could barely get the connection properly, so I'm really hoping that, you're talking about the wages being offered by the different governors.
Yeah, yes. It's one of our topics.
Yes. Okay, because it's a topical point today.
Yes.
Well, it's quite disheartening to notice the swinging back and forth about the tripartite committee, because you'd have expected that would have been something that would have been at the front burner, and we wouldn't have gotten to the brink where Labour would have had to go on strike to press home the issue. Having happened, looking through the list, it's a bit disconsolate to see what the governors are offering. And some governors are saying it's a federal republic and they ought to be given the right to choose and that kind of a thing. But I would say that is not really right, because if you leave some governors, they will pay 18,000. They won't look back. It has always been an increase coming from the federal government offering. So I think what should happen is the federal government should always give a benchmark. Because if they don't, the other governors are, sorry to say, a bit too self-centered to be bothered about what inflation is biting into. The workers' pay. Another set of opinion is that the minimum wage shouldn't be increased because it will escalate inflation. Rather, other factors should be put in place, such as housing, transportation for workers, etc., etc.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you.
Can.
Go ahead.
But, these, number one, these are very good, but these are a bit long-term. For instance, we've noticed since the Tinubu administration, 1 year has passed, the CG buses are not in place. So let's just have at least a high minimum as a short term. Looking through the list, we discovered that states like Zamfara and Kogi, very disheartening, 30, 35 in today's economy. And some governors are even saying, well, the reason they're offering so little is that they can't afford to pay. This is a very, very flimsy excuse. I'll break it down to you. Number one, what is the wage bill of each government? You and I know states are not employing. There's an embargo in many states on civil service employment. There are a lot of deaths. There are a lot of retirements. They are falling behind in paying retirement, gratuities, and the rest of it. So exactly what is even the workforce that they even have to pay? They're small. But they're now making a separate corridor, a separate workforce of PAs, SAs, SSAs, and those kind of people, and giving them jumbo salaries, which is totally wrong. Then turn around and say, oh, we are not in a position to afford to pay. I mean, let's face it, every government should find minimum wage as a statutory responsibility. It should be removed first.
Thank you, Nikki.
And it should also be at least adjusted at a regular time with inflation, taken into consideration. So I think governors have not really done as good as they should. But from what I'm seeing, let's just say we'll go for 40, 45 as an average. And I think Labour should take it as a first offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ata from Niger Delta. She said the offer by governors is disconsolate. So, and she has already made a proposal of 45,000. But Labour is talking about 490,000, and they stepped down to 250. Exactly. So, but she has made valid points. One thing I noticed about our callers, all of them are talking about the
minimum wage, because it's biting hard. It's biting really hard. I think that's what the language, the word I can use is biting people really, really hard. So back to the Edo State and the cultists that had attacked the military. So they said the Jaw community in Ovia Southwest local government in the River Rhine area. Yes, they believe they've been marginalized. And
we have another caller, Elizabeth. Hello, good evening. You're on to Matters Arising.
Good evening.
Good evening, you're welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Mike from Bayelsa.
Mike from Bayelsa, you're on to the program.
Yes.
Please make your comments.
I want to suggest first that our constitution should be considered.
Okay.
there should be a law that will make it compulsory. That whoever goes to power, at time your time expires, there's a law to check you. Accountability. Because if there's any need for you to present your access, then when you come out of the power, you should show us if you have improved. You understand me?
Yeah, we do.
For the governor to rule for 8 good years, and there's no accountability, unless if the successor decide to do so, that will give them power to manipulate us. The same thing with a president. How can a servant be any more than a master? They say they are table servant. Then the servant is now enjoying more than the master. You know that what they are doing is evil. It's only in Nigeria such a wicked act. You know what the president collects? You know what the governor collects? House of Assembly. Imagine somebody who was a governor for 8 good years, collected security vote, everything, using bulletproof car. And when he gets to Senate by manipulation of enemies, then you have to get a very high chunk from the little thing there to give him another bulletproof car of how many millions? How many A's do they have? Wickedness is in this country. Honestly, when I look at them, they are evil. They are evil.
Thank you so much.
I'm telling you, they are evil. God is merciful. God is just merciful.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm telling you,
Thank
they are
you, Mike.
evil.
Thank you, Mike.
Minimum wage. What is that mean? Go to the market and see. People are suffering now.
Thank you so much.
Let the security agents. Nigeria will rise up. I'm telling you, people are suffering. A hungry man is an angry man.
Yeah.
The youth are suffering. No job. No job for the youth.
Thank
They're
you.
even wasting their time in the school because of strike.
Thanks for calling.
Parents are having money to take care of. You are talking about what is 60,000 naira?
Thanks for calling, Mike.
60,000 naira.
Thanks for calling, Mike.
Are you getting me?
You have made your point. You have made your point,
Let
Mike.
us
Thanks for calling.
consider Nigeria is boiling.
Thanks for calling, Mike.
Security agents will have more work to do.
Thanks for calling.
Because a hungry man is an angry man. People are suffering. The youth are suffering.
We appreciate your calling.
Governor, let them prepare.
We appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You know, Mike from Bielsa kept talking about 8 good years, 8 good years. And what came to my mind is that
Is it really
there could be 8 bad years. Some governors have 8 bad years. Not all of them have.
The 8
Good.
years.
No,
will
when
be
they
good.
stay for 8 years and they can hardly pay salaries, of course that's 8 bad years.
Yeah.
Well, to us it's bad years, but to them
It's 8 good years.
You have 8 good years because their banks accounts are fat, whether directly or indirectly.
No, because really, there's a limit to how you can push somebody.
No, there is always a
Yes,
limit.
because if this actually is not properly handled, and they come together, call labor again, they organize private sector, they come together, the federal government, and really make a headway this time around. Honestly, we don't want to see we don't want to see anything bad. And we don't even want, because it is actually it is, because labor has even threatened again that they give to you tomorrow Tuesday midnight.
Yes.
If nothing is done, then they go back on strike, and we don't want that to happen. Just 48 hours the other day, we could count our losses.
Exactly.
As a nation.
It took its toll on everybody, including the nation.
Yeah, and even the people that had to lose their lives innocently in the hospital because of the lights that went off and all that. You understand? And we don't want that to happen again.
We don't want that to happen.
We don't want that to happen.
And when we come to talk about the fact that they say, some people will say, if you don't like what is going on, vote them out. In Nigeria, you don't even have rights to vote people out because after casting the vote, someone somewhere will use one person that's an electoral officer to nullify all that you did and place the person you didn't want to still be your president or your governor.
Well,
or
that's where we find ourselves. Even that, the callers have made us deviated back to because you can see everybody is overwhelmed with that topic, this minimum wage topic in Nigeria, all right? So, it is good what the Edo State government has come out to warn cultists, and that, you know, all those the boys that call themselves marginalized, and they're the one defending their community and all that, not to the military officers, not so.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's condemnable, like we always do. We've been condemning that each time we hear that they have been attacked. Any of the states, the last one was Abia State, the other one that happened
there was Delta.
In Delta State earlier, and no, we say no to that. That should not be a norm. We don't want that to keep happening.
Okay, on that condemnable note, we will take a short break, and when we return, Matters Arising will continue. When we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world, we're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising.
In a world where information is vital to every individual, a platform where technology is a medium to pass information, you can always catch up on all information written in the newspapers, even without having one. Join us on The Press.
Reaching live from the Abuja studios.
On the punch for this morning, the Blueprint newspaper, Nigerian Tribune this morning.
As we give you information and opinions about current events and topical issues on politics, business, sports, entertainment, weather forecasts, and lots more in the local city, across all states, and across all countries. Showing daily on Startimes, channel 124, 9 a.m. West African time, only on KAFTAN TV. Stay connected with us.
That he said it is the reason why I will not do it.
And pursue the federal government to pay us our damages.
YouTube, KAFTAN TV.
When we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world. We're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our... Welcome back, and thanks for being there with us. If you are just joining, this is Matters Arising. Please make the program conversational by calling to participate. Adamawa State has been in the news recently, but not for anything untoward. The state is concluding arrangements to elect its local government chairman and councillors, which is slated to hold on the 13th day of July 2024. What's interesting, however, is not the fact that there will be an election to be conducted by the State Electoral Commission, but the exorbitant cost of nomination and expression of interest forms, especially by the ruling People's Democratic Party in the state, it beats one's imagination at a whopping 10 million naira, while the opposition, All Progressives Congress, is set to sell at barely 400,000 naira. I think our democracy is very, very expensive, and I don't think it's good for our leadership recruitment process. Where is the hope for someone who has the sanity, elocution, empathy, commitment, selflessness, and intellect to lead, but lacks the financial wherewithal to throw his hat or her hat to run for an elective office at that level?
Well, yes, where the intellectuals, the ones that are ripe enough, the ones that are prepared, that can do the work, most of them would not have this amount of money. 10 million.
10 million.
Look at Nigeria. Look at what we are facing, what we are going through. How many people can afford 1 million even? Now we're talking 10 million.
That's for primary election at the first instance. That was the first election.
Oh.
Primary election, that is PDP affair. 10 million naira.
Even primaries. At this stage,
yes.
And it's 10 million.
It's 10 million.
Even the All Progressive Congress is taking 4 million, which is even still high. But the PDP one is like so outrageous.
Is it 4 million or 400,000?
400,000.
400,000.
The APC is 400,000. PDP is 10 million. And PDP is the ruling party in Adamawa State.
Right. And okay, that's why they decided to make
their nomination form is 9 million naira. The expression of interest is 1 million naira, making a total of 10 million naira.
10 million naira.
So how would someone that has the capacity to lead but lacks the financial wherewithal, that's have the ability to pick that form? Exactly.
That's what we are talking about. And then the not so young to run bill had been signed into law. Yeah. And we encourage young people to come out
and participate
in politics.
To offer leadership,
where will
provide leadership.
Yes, a young man, a young lady gets 10 million naira to buy from.
Elizabeth, we have a caller.
As a venturing into politics.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Matters Arising. Hello. Yeah, you're welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Didion Peter, calling back from Abaka.
Okay, Didion Peter. Yeah, you called earlier and the phone was not friendly.
Please, my contribution is that I want you to please tell the federal government to help us.
Oh, okay.
The servants of government we are dying.
They are listening.
Go ahead.
Federal government is listening.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We can hear you and federal government is watching.
We are dying. With my first children, I don't know where I'm going. I'm dying of starvation, hunger, everything. I don't even know what to do. Transport, wage, and day, I don't even know. The cost of living is very high. With what I'm earning, I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm confused.
Thank you.
I should give the job now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Didion. Thank you. He took us back to the same issue of
transport and all
transport
that.
And that's what Nigerians are talking about.
Would you want to continue?
Yes, that's what we are talking about. Talking about somebody that would have the capacity to want to come and change what what is going on. Rating with these ratings, this high sum of amount of money, and with this the person cannot participate.
You cannot participate.
So you leave it back to the same clique that has been.
It is so sad and so regrettable.
And
it's sad. It's painful.
If you must get there, then you look for a sponsor.
Oh yeah,
look for a sponsor.
That's what
the
happens.
one you refer to as godfather.
Godfathers, yes.
And of course, you know what follows, because when the godfather gives you money, and you eventually win the election, you must be making returns to the godfather.
You be at the mercy. You be at his mercy.
At the expense of the people.
Okechukwu, we have a caller. Hello, good evening. You're on to Matters Arising. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. We can hear you. Turn down the volume. It's probably at a party.
Yes. So you find out that what we have been told in the past, that in this era, nothing like godfatherism and it's going, is not true. Because when you have such in that state, that's what it will be. Let's assume that it's one governor. Let's assume that it's one governor that purchases all these things. Then he, by himself, appoints the people that will do that. So that at the end of the day, those people he brought in are the ones that will win, because after all.
And ultimately, those are the authorities that will midwife the election.
We are appointed by him. The state electoral commissioner and all the other
members
and members of the commission are all people appointed by the governor. So is it not he that pays the piper that dictates the tune? So that's what we will see. Honestly, I pray, just as you said, that young people will find opportunities to come in. And I pray too that these young people that may even come in there would behave well. I remember Ngige. Ngige had someone or some people that referred to themselves as godfathers, but Ngige disappointed them. Just to make sure that the best happened in Anambra State. And I tell you, Anambra, any day you want to talk about Anambra, it is before Ngige and after Ngige. So Ngige became the yardstick. That's why other governors had to perform, because Ngige did so well. I pray that even the young people, if anybody gets in there with the money of any person, whether godfather or not, get in there, ignore that godfather, expose that godfather, and do the work you should do to help the people. I know that people will rally around that such a person.
Yeah, but that's what has been happening with most of our governors now. That's what has been happening when most of them are sponsored by these same godfathers that you are talking about. And when you hear, when they are, in their closet making the plans and agreeing, signing, and all that, we don't hear. When we start hearing, that means they started disagreeing with each other.
Just we started hearing from them. One of the South states now.
Exactly. That when they have put them there, supported them financially and otherwise, gotten them the votes and all that. Then when it is time for them to pay back, then they don't want to. Then you begin to hear them come out to say they stop God for that reason. But they are practicing the same thing.
Well, Elizabeth, leadership is service. What worries me is that why would somebody be charged a humongous amount of money for him to purchase form because he wants to go and serve the people? You're going there to serve. You should be selfless.
Like, do they? Yeah, leadership is supposed to be service.
It's supposed to be service. But when you pay to serve,
what we have in this part of the world, that's right. Are they serving? They are the masters. They are not serving. They are the masters. Because if they were serving, even this minimum wage issue that we are talking about, we won't be talking about it. It shouldn't be an issue for this long. You get it?
That's why it's still the same kind of people that will keep governing, because the people who have better sense of reasoning will not.
They don't have
this sort of thing.
They are not given the opportunity.
That's why they call Nigerian politics a dirty game. If not, why should one man be the one that will want to control everything in a state?
Yeah, because they want to keep controlling as far as the local government is concerned. That's why over the years they've denied the autonomy for the local governments.
That's another. Thank God the president is doing something. But I hope he will still conclude it, because there are other things he had said that we've not had anything about. At least I can mention the Orosaye report. Nobody has had anything. He gave the committee 6 weeks.
Yes,
my brother is getting to 6 months
to submit their
report.
And what has happened? So I pray, even as they started this, may they conclude, because it's not just talking about these things. May everyone everywhere, let me take it from you, talk the word there, say the word, talk the
walk the talk,
walk the talk.
Let them walk the talk.
Like Edo State Governor seems to be walking the talk.
Yes, he is.
With this Riot Act that he read to cultists and criminals in the state. We're still talking Adama, politics. What do you think is the solution? The forms are so exorbitant.
Well, at this point, it's going to be the same. It's going to be history repeating itself, because nobody, like we have said, the people that would want to do the job, that are fit for the job, that do not have the means.
They will be disenfranchised.
Will be to be able to buy these forms, will not be able to be a part of it. They will not be able to.
There are instances where state governors purchase forms according to the number of local governments of those states. I don't know if that
so if that happens, you know what that means. If that happens,
exactly.
By the time a state governor purchases,
they have anointed candidates who will emerge, in parentheses, winners.
That's why I talked about godfatherism. Then such people will become the godfathers, like the way it is happening right now. If by any means such a thing happens in, what's that state again? Adamawa, is it? If by anything such a thing happens in Adamawa right now, how do you expect other parties to do? But one thing I like is that the opposition party, is selling their forms, giving their forms at the very. But then I should believe that Labour Party should be in that place. Can they do something? What is the other party? SDP. Other parties, let them seize this opportunity and get people. And because
we only heard them mention PDP and APC.
Let the others do something, so that if by any means they convince the people to get such people to vote for them, and they vote and they win, and these people in authority wants to turn it the other way, the people can revolt. Because that is the thing that leads to...
that's the whole idea, so that they will not revolt against them. Even so that whatever it is that they are doing, they have them covered.
Well, as we round off, I want to say that we are joining Nigerian football lovers in their sadness today, because Nigeria lost to Benin Republic 2-1. And when I was watching that match, I came very, very happy, but I was so sad watching that match, because I didn't see any tactical maneuvers, I didn't see any commitment, I didn't see any game plan. It was lackadaisical, and Nigeria lost. And Finidi George is in for a road deal by Nigerian fans.
After watching the other day, I didn't come to watch today. You didn't come to watch today? Because I wasn't sure.
You are not a football fan.
No.
You are a wrestling fan.
No, yes, I am.
There is even something important we need to even think about, that soldier that I don't know how the story is anyway, that helped to
Okay, we have a caller. Hello? Okay. We've lost that one.
Right.
The soldier, Captain.
Okay, Captain
Abalaka.
That brave soldier.
Oh,
The news went round. It was so.
Yeah, that was
it
brave.
went viral.
That was really brave.
That the captain rescued himself from his abductors and even saved other captives,
including his dog.
Oh, wow.
Well,
that was a risk, though. When I read about the story, I said that was a risk, but thank God he made it. He was able to.
Abalaka made it, and we're proud of him.
Congratulations to him.
Yes, thank you. Well, that's the size of our package tonight on the program Matters Arising. We thank our esteemed viewers for tuning in and for participating as callers. On behalf of our producer, Ruben Okala, and the entire production team, I am Maucauley Hunohashi saying, it is our pleasure that you shared your evening with us.
And I am Elizabeth Sam-Sebi saying good night from all of us here in the studio.
Okechukwu Onugbo, wishing you the best.
Do join us again next week. And as we say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world.
Good night.
When we say on